was Animated Alphabet, because that was the first kind of brief where I actually experimented within the horror genre. So it was the first one where I went for a more dark and creepy side, which is something that I enjoy doing. I quite like producing horror themes, but I also quite like producing fantasy themes. I just like to tell a story of some kind. I like to be able to create a piece that will be able to tell a story and get the audience to view emotions, no matter what kind of medium the actual pieces are.
Definitely my dissertation project. It was the first ever time for me, and I think many of you guys, writing 9,000 words, which was definitely interesting. But I actually I was inspired by sort of like my own condition, as being a diabetic, for my brief, so it was quite personal to me. And to be able to create a brief where I was working on compliance, that's making users and the compliance between medical devices and users. And I think starting to work with like 3D printing to prototype products and looking at how designers can help sort of the medical industry. It makes us less sort of just about the aesthetics and more about the function behind things, and that's what I'm really keen on. I love the aesthetics, but I would like designers to have a bit more of a meaning behind their work. I think there's lots of different avenues that are now opening up, especially to sort of interactive designers, that and it's sort of paving a new way for design, which is great.
I think one of my favourites was the Wood and Trust brief, because it was a live brief, so it gave me a chance to work with a client, which I've not really had before. I also really liked the Intolerance brief, where I created an eye that followed you as you walked past, and that was really good because it actually worked, which is always nice.
My mannequin.
Oh, your mannequin.
That is definitely my favourite project. It was something I really poured my heart and soul into.
Yeah.
Overall, definitely the Woodlands Trust, though, to be fair. That was also a favourite one. And yeah.
Second year, it's got to be my Objects of Little Value project, because I like experiments with like little ideas of like things that you would normally just take for granted in everyday life. And I collaborated with Paul, which was actually interesting and quite a fun way of like, seeing how both our styles of work actually meld together. Next of all was my dissertation brief, which was basically just experimentation to build the Pepper's Ghost effects, like a small scale, and to actually make it interactive in a way that if you pulled the lever, then you could make what was the ghost in my one, which was a set of eyeballs, which would sort of detach from the head, something grim. But I think it looks rather comical by the way that they are. My third one actually was Intolerance, which was sort of a journey into learning how to use Unity and trying to create a game which, if you were to, it was based around internet trolls and people who would basically shout at a video game just for going down the wrong route. And then this idea of if you were to swear or just say anything obscene or anything like that, then the game itself would react and it would punish you for it. So sort of in one way trying to make you watch your language, and in the other way just a fun experience which is adding a little bit more depth.
Probably the career brief in the third year. During that I was able to literally, it was completely open, I was able to just do whatever I wanted, and coincidentally at that time I got put in the direction of a new piece of coding software and I began developing audio-visual pieces, and those pieces became exactly what I want to do in my career. So I was able to spend 4 to 5 months before the project even started, 4 to 5 months just absolutely blasting out work, and I think it turned out really well.
Colours and culture. Because that was the first time I actually set out to like make something. I was just keeping things like screen based or sketchbook based. I never actually, it was always just a concept, it was never like an actual final ending piece. So that's when it like really hit me that I really enjoyed making stuff. The fact that it actually worked as well.
My favourite projects, I have one for each year. First year we had a graphic user interface project. I based that on an interactive pet theme and design. And that was good because I got to merge something new and completely different to what I was used to, which was using code and Flash and ActionScript, and I was able to merge that with my skills in filming. So I was able to film and use code to create something which I was and still am extremely proud of. Second year, it was more code, but we had to use a new piece of hardware, which was Arduino. But that was fun because I got to create some discrete hooks that were able to hide when not in use and fall out when needing to be in use. And that was fun. I got to film and document that, so I was able to not only show the concept of it, but the functionality of it as well. So I was happy that was working. Third year, it would be my dissertation brief, because that was related to something I was researching already, which was transhumanism. And I got to sort of detach away from transhumanism's goal, which is human biology limitations, and I took it to human interaction. And although it wasn't an actual functioning piece, I was able to conceptualize it really well using Adobe After Effects, just to not only show the function, but also the use of it as well between two people across distances.